You know what? I don't know anymore. I like the decision by Rick to bench the starters because they didn't care. They didn't care. Karras, you need to shoot threes. You had open threes, and then you would drive inside and try and draw a foul, knowing very, very well that the refs were not on our side at all this game, meaning they aren't going to give us those calls. So why are you driving inside when you have a chance to take a three? That made no sense whatsoever. Malcolm Brogdon, he was actually making shots. He was doing decent, but then he went cold and terrible, and his passes were getting sloppy, and he was just creating turnovers. Duarte was just kind of flat, and then Domas, he was doing decent. He was doing decent in the post, but we just never gave him the ball for some reason. Like, he was making shots in the post, and he was utilizing his size, but we just never gave him the ball to do that. Same thing with Miles Turner. Like, we barely gave him the ball. Barely gave either of them the ball to try and utilize their size in the post against the Hornets, and they were doing it well, but we just weren't giving them the ball for some reason. I don't know why. But then we put this bench unit in. This bench unit filled with guys who either, you got T.J. McConnell, Torrey Craig, those type of guys who just scrap and grit and grind and never give up. Brad Wanamaker somehow went off. Jeremy Lamb somehow went off. Goga was in his bag. I don't know how. And those guys play their hearts out. They make a few mistakes here and there, but they play their hearts out. Bring it to a 3-point lead, chance to tie. Brad Wanamaker gets fouled, kind of, but it kind of looked like he was drawing it. So, of course, they're not going to call it. And for whatever reason, instead of passing it to Kelan Martin, a good 3-point shooter, who's decently open, he passes it to Torrey Craig in the corner, who is fairly covered, and he doesn't even get a shot off. So just the court vision there was really bad, but I will give it to Brad Wanamaker. He had a good game today. He had a good game. I'll give it to him. But I just got to say this really quick about Oshae Brissett. Rick, last time we faced these guys, you said it was a mistake that I didn't play Oshae. And then you barely play Oshae here today. Why? Why is this man not in the rotation? When we were still running the normal rotation, the minutes you give to Goga, give them to Oshae. Let him have a chance to see what he can do. In 8 minutes, he didn't score a lot. He had 2 shot attempts and missed both of them. But on defense, he was decent. And if you actually give him a chance and build his confidence up, he can be a really good player. The dude had a night where he scored he had 2 nights where he scored 30 points last year. Multiple nights where he would score 20 and get 10 rebounds. That game against the Heat that we won, he was good. Why is he out of the rotation? That makes no sense. Just logically, when a player is playing good, why do you take them out of the rotation? That makes 0 sense. At all. And you know what? At this point, start that bench rotation. Next game, to send the starters a message. You aren't safe. You can't go out there and give no effort and expect to win. You can't go out there and not care and expect to win. Halfway through the game, they didn't look like they even cared anymore. They didn't care. They didn't want to win. They weren't playing tough. They weren't playing how we're supposed to play. And then Rick put guys in there who actually wanted to play. Do that next game. Starting lineup, put guys out there who are actually going to play. I don't care. My Pacers all-effort lineup, excluding some starters, because Miles and Duarte would be on there, but they didn't even care. And my Pacers all-effort team, point guard T.J. McConnell, obviously. Shooting guard Kelan Martin, obvious reasons. Small forward, Oshae Brissett, obvious reasons. Power forward Torrey Craig, obvious reasons. And center, I would put Isaiah Jackson in there. The guy plays with so much passion, so much heart. He wants to win. He does whatever it takes to get playing time. But right now he's on injury rehab with the Mad Ants. So I put Goga in there just because sometimes when Goga is really feeling himself, he can actually do something. He needs to stop taking threes though. That's stupid. He attempted multiple. They were terrible. Don't ever do that again. Don't. But just start putting guys out there who are actually going to give effort to win games. Because if the starters aren't going to do it, there is definitely someone on this roster who will. There is definitely someone on this roster who will. And with how this game goes, this is a perfect example of why we need to stop being like blow up the roster after one game. Because one game can be so crazy. Or a handful of games can be so crazy. Or 17 games in the year. And people, I saw one guy say, trade everyone. Like, not excluding any players, even the young guys, even Duarte and Isaiah Jackson, trade everyone. Which, logically, that makes no sense. Because, successful rebuilds never kept any young talent to try and help complete the rebuild. Never did that. I mean, Red Wings, they didn't keep Dylan Larkin and Tyler Bertuzzi. The Tigers, I guess they didn't really have much young talent, but they've kept a few constants. I mean, Jeimer Candelario, Jonathan Scope, Miggy, he's not young, but he was decent. Casey Mize, they didn't keep Casey Mize and let him develop through the minors or anything when we were still really sucky. And same thing with Riley Green, Daz Cameron. The Tigers have traded those guys away. And it's not like those teams right now. The Red Wings are contending for a playoff spot, and the Tigers next year are looking to contend for a playoff spot. Those are perfect examples of good rebuilds, and they didn't keep any of their young guys through it. Most definitely, never. Nope, they traded away everyone. Like that just makes no sense at all. To trade away every single player, that makes no sense. And I just at a certain point, what Rick did, I understand it because you just get so frustrated that you want to put guys in there who are actually going to play because you get fed up with these starters sometimes because they think that their job's secure, it's locked up, they feel too comfortable sometimes. So occasionally you have to let them know you're not special. The only time that you help us win games is when you try to win games. You don't win games based off your talent. You win based off of your effort with this team. And when you stop giving that effort, you're no more valuable than a two-way player at that point. You're no more valuable than the 12th guy off the bench because you're not giving effort and you don't want to win. So what's the point of playing you? You're not going to put up good numbers and you're not going to help us win. What's the point of playing you? You might as well be benched for someone who's actually going to try. There are hundreds of people fighting in the G League for a spot. Give it to one of them. We've given it to guys before. Edmund Sumner, O'Shea Brissett, those guys, they've showed out. Nothing makes you special in this league anymore. There are tons of talented guys that the Pacers can find to fill your spot just as quickly as they found you. You're not safe. That's just how it is. It's how this business is. It's just sometimes our front office doesn't have the balls to do stuff like that. And for every reason, they don't want to play into the whole world small market team thing and bring in cheap talent who's good. And when they do, they don't do anything with it. They don't keep them as soon as they get good. This game was frustrating. It was emotional. We somehow almost won. It made no sense. I don't even know what to say anymore. It's crazy. Tomorrow we have New Orleans. I hope we beat them. I don't know if I make a video, it might come a bit later. But I will make a video on it. It just might come a bit later. Yeah. See you guys next time. As always, I'm not funny. And again, my normal message with the people who want rebuilds. How are you going to wait through 5 to 10 years of sucking if you can't even make it through a few games? Like, if you're strictly a Pacers fan and you don't watch any other sports, you've never really been through that kind of long-term rebuild. Even if you watch the Colts and the Pacers, you've never been through a long-term rebuild. I've been through 5-6 year rebuilds with the Tigers and the Red Wings. I know what it's like. And I know what makes those teams successful, and the Pacers don't have that. They don't have any remnants of that. I guess remnants wouldn't be the right word. They don't have any. They don't have anyone in the front office who's like what the Tigers and the Red Wings have in the front office. They have some of the best front offices in their respective leagues. Whereas the Pacers, they find talent, but then they let them go as soon as they hit free agency, and then other teams scoop them up and they do good there. And we look at what could have been. See you guys next time.
Just got unlucky on a few plays tonight. You know, one of those plays, I thought he was standing still, but he just hit the shit out of that one guy, and the guy went flying. They blew the whistle, and they called it on him.